let's do an unusual kind of bird watching. I want to talk about presidents. But what I don't want to talk about is politics. I don't care if you're a conservative or a liberal, you're a Democrat or Republican or an independent. It's irrelevant. I'm just talking about style, how they present themselves, their body language, their tone, the way they carry themselves, how they interact with the world. Are we there? This is not easy to do because most of us are fairly politically intuitive and we're passionate about these things. I want you to try to drain that away. Okay? Barack Obama.
Dove.
Raise your hand if he's a dove. Raise your hand. Think about his style. Not what he says, how he says it. Raise your hand if he's an owl. Okay. Raise your hand if he's an eagle. You're wrong. Raise your hand if he's a parrot. He used to be. Okay. Obama is a dove owl. Okay? When he first came onto the scene, what did people say about him? No drama, Obama. He was calm. He was very composed. He walked into the room as if he had always been there in that capacity. He was very comfortable in his own skin. People focused on his skin, which was, to me, not the issue at all. It was the fact that he was so comfortable with himself. That's how doves are. And in the first election, there was Parrot. He was very inspirational, right? He would get up in front of 100,000 people and take them to the moon. So there was a lot of dove parrot there. And what do we say about dove parrots? They're very what? They're the most likable people on the planet. It's almost impossible to dislike a parrot dove. Dove parrot. However, once he got elected, goodbye, except for the selfies, okay? And he was very dove owl. Okay? Very low key, not confrontational in a classic eagle way, but very committed to his ideals. And doves are stubborn. Right? Doves believe in what they believe in, and they're willing to go where they need to go. Just because they don't scream and holler and shout doesn't mean they're weak. George Bush, previous president.
Parrot.
All right, raise your hand if he's a parrot. Interesting. Raise your hand if he's an eagle. Dove? Of course not. Owl? Come on. Detail-oriented? I don't think so. Right? No. In my opinion, he's very much an eagle parrot. Eagle parrot. Okay? Remember, Bush was the decider. Okay? He was the bottom line president. He landed on the aircraft carrier and the sign in the back said, mission accomplished. Okay? In fact, he told, it's how he described himself to the public, that I set up a cabinet, and Condi and Rumsfeld argue, and then I make the decision. Okay? Very eagle. But you're right, had lots of parrot energy. Here's the other thing about eagles. They really don't care what you think about them. Eagles don't sell themselves. Eagles make decisions, and then they move on. And for those of you who remember his administration, Bush spent very, very little time defending his policies. Whether they were popular or very often unpopular, it really didn't matter to him. He just moved forward. That's very eagle. So we're having 8 years of dove. We had 8 years of an eagle. How about Bill Clinton? Yeah, raise your hand if he's a parrot. Big time. Got a little carried away with the fun now, didn't he? Yes. Parrots are pretty committed to fun, aren't they? That's one committed guy, all right? So, and Clinton, if you think about why George Bush was elected in the first place, people don't remember what it was like after 8 years of Bill Clinton. But there was parrot fatigue. He was so gregarious. He was so out there. He was so seemingly out of control with the enormity of his personality that when George W. Bush came along, it was relief. Just a stand-up guy. Just a straight-ahead guy. It wasn't all of this megalo personality. So we're having 8 years of a dove. We had 8 years of an eagle. And then before that, we had 8 years of a parrot. Who was president before Clinton? George Bush Sr. Now, I know I got a lot of millennials in the room here, so you might not remember this. But where would you put George Bush Sr.? You're right. He's an owl. He's an owl dove. Okay? You want proof of this? Think about 2 wars that we fought. Okay? When George Bush Sr. went to war in the Middle East, do you remember how he did it?
Yeah. Calculated.
Very calculated. He went to the UN and stayed there. He parked there until he had the largest coalition the world had seen since World War II. Building a coalition was critical to Bush's mindset, and he had a plan. And once the Iraqis were kicked out of Kuwait, and they said, go after Saddam Hussein, what did he say?
No.
No. Why not? It wasn't part. There was no plan for that. The plan was to get them out of Kuwait. Plan was accomplished. Mission was accomplished. That's it. How did Bush Jr. go to war? Shock and awe, baby. Right? It was all legal all the time. Okay? Was there a whole lot of planning afterwards? No. Okay? So here it is. We've got 2 Republicans. We've got 2 Bushes, and they're both going to war in the same part of the world. And yet, 2 very different approaches. And the world saw it. They didn't know how to identify it this way. They might attribute it to ideology, but I'm telling you it's not about ideology. It's about style. One was an eagle, and one was an owl. That's how profound, how important this dimension is. Okay, prior to George Bush Sr., who did we have? Reagan. Where was Reagan? Reagan was an eagle parrot. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, right? But Reagan was called the great communicator for a reason. Shining city on a hill, right? Real optimist. Morning in America. Very connecting. So Reagan had 3 of these in spades. That's why he was called the great communicator. Before Reagan, who did we have? Carter. Now, I know for the millennials, this is way, way before your time. So, but where would you put him for those of us who were around? Of course, dove owl. Do you guys see the pattern here? Yeah. Okay. This is the real secret to presidential elections. It's got nothing to do with politics. We're all obsessed with politics. No. The real secret is we never elect the same style twice in a row unless we re-elect the same person. Never. Okay? Now, why is this the case? The reason is because of overuse. See, being president is stressful. And when we're under stress, we take our strengths and we over-apply them. And when we overuse our strengths, we create weakness. And when we do that, we tax everybody around us. And it creates fatigue. So right now, the country seems to be in dove fatigue. All right? So now let's go to the next election. Forget about who that person is. What's going to be the next president in terms of style? Totally. I can guarantee you the next president will be an eagle. So it may very well be Hillary's time. In fact, it probably is. But it's not Hillary because she's a woman, which is what everybody's going to talk about, another glass ceiling, another unprecedented moment. No, 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 no. It's because she's an eagle. Why wasn't it Hillary's time 6 years ago? She was just as much next in line. What happened? Obama came along and it turned into a race thing instead of a gender thing, but that's not it. After 8 years of eagle energy, we were not in the mood for another eagle. So Obama comes along as a dove. Can you imagine Barack Obama with Chris Christie's personality? Do you think he would have been half as interesting or half as popular? Of course not. Obama's personality, his style, was perfect for the moment, which is why it wasn't Hillary's time and why it probably is Hillary's time now. So, if the Republicans put up Jeb Bush, tell me who Jeb Bush is. What is he? What's Jeb Bush? Is Jeb Bush an eagle like his brother? No. Is he like a, hey, why, look at me, big time parrot?
Owl.
Yeah, he's an owl dove. Jeb Bush is all about education. Jeb Bush cares about it. I mean, that is a very dove focus. He doesn't have a chance. Because we just had 8 years of dove energy. We're not going to elect another dove. Okay? Because we don't, that's not what we do. Excuse me, Rand Paul, thank you. Is he an eagle? No. Is he in your face? No. No. Is he a happy-go-lucky parrot? No. No. What is he? He's a doctor. He's an owl. You know what he did on his vacation? He went down to Guatemala and performed eye surgeries for poor children. He's an owl dove. He doesn't have a chance. People think it's about politics. It's not. Because at the end of the day, it won't be about Ron Paul versus or Hillary. It's going to be about Ron Paul versus Obama. It's going to be about Hillary versus Obama. It's not an election between two people. It's an election between the past president, the fatigue, and who we're looking for going forward. Mitt Romney. Where would you put Mitt Romney?
He doesn't know.
You're so right. How did you know that? I thought he's a CEO. He's you know, like a big leader. You're right. He's an owl. He's an owl dove. He's the same combo as Obama. When was Romney ahead in the election? There was one point where he was just killing it.
Second debate.
Not the second debate.
After the first debate.
After the first debate. What happened in that first debate?
Romney killed him.
How? What did he do?
Yeah, facts.
Romney went eagle.
Right.
He was tough. He didn't care, and he didn't apologize. And he mopped the floor with Obama. And Obama was very much in dove mode. And the public saw for the first time contrast. Oh, we got an eagle and we got a dove. We're a little tired of the dove. Hey, that looks good. That looks presidential. And he soared in the polls. And then what did he do? In the second and third debate, what did Romney do? I mean, I'm sorry, but politically the guy just, it was out to lunch. What did he do in the second and third debate? He went back down to his natural style. And what did Obama, who was a brilliant politician, what did he do? He went back up to eagle, and they met in the middle. And a tie goes to the incumbent.